Alright, we should be live. Just gonna make sure the audio is good, get it set up in Discord, and then we will begin. And I'm on time today. I did it. That should mean the Vikings had to go 2-0, or else I'm never starting on time again. Okay, audio is good. Alrighty, week 7 and 8 kicking off. What's good, Nickinator, Hector, SGYT, C-Mel, what's going on, everybody? So I assume the Hector-Tom Brady battle won week 7, I hope? Because that was the best game there. Yes, it did. And then for week 8, it looks like the Pioneers and Diablos kind of ran away late. What's the Diablos record again? I think they're, what, 4-2? Yeah, they're 4-2, and obviously the Pioneers are 6-0. So we have 2 really good games today. The Tigers, do they have 4 wins or 3 wins? They have 4. So we're watching teams who all have at least 4 wins today. That's cool. So I got news. Oh boy, is it the retirement thing? I did see that. So you said you want to stay as the coach for the rest of the year, which is fine. And then after that, you can retire. You can always change your mind as well. That's still open. We are so proud. Can we wear the same... Which ones did you wear last time? The gray ones? Did you guys wear the gray ones last time? Let me check. The home jerseys are gray, aren't they? Yeah, they're gray. Okay, gray tops and blue bottoms. All right. Siri, give you a whole number between 1 and 2. 2. The Tigers are home. Hector versus TV. Who's the true GOAT? None of the above. You're 3-2. I think you guys are 3-2-ish in the ballpark. Right? You guys are 3-3. Currently tied with London for first place in the NFC East. Hector forgot to cut somebody. Okay, do you want me to just cut your worst, like, irrelevant player? Because apparently you gotta cut somebody before we start. So I can cut any of these scrubs down here. Did I make that certain switch you wanted? Yes, I did. Everyone's gonna be real surprised when they see that. Should I cut Jackson? Is Jackson the only other quarterback? No, you have Sam Hartman. So I can cut Jackson. He doesn't really have any purpose. Yeah, we'll cut good old Jackson Collins out of Texas A&M. Gig him. Hector's backup is Sam Hartman. He's real. He plays for Wake Forest, and he's actually pretty good. What? What position do they not have? You don't need 3 quarterbacks. You definitely do not need 3 QBs. That's never been a thing. It doesn't make sense. What position did you guys not have? I'm very confused. Because you don't need 3 QBs. So I don't think this is anything you did specifically wrong. You guys have a kicker and a punter. I'm so confused. What do they need? It's never been a rule that you have to have 3 quarterbacks on an NFL roster. Okay, let's go position by position, see if there's anything wrong. Is it tight? It's probably tight end because both of these guys are hurt. Oh. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, I can sign a tight end, although the guy, Noah Gray, who played last week, was really good. Yeah, so it would have to be tight end. That makes a lot more sense. We can move. How about, why don't we move somebody to tight end? So that way we don't have to sign somebody else and cut somebody else. Who's a big receiver here who doesn't play? None of these guys. Do you want to move Anderson or Searcy to tight end just until one of these guys come back? Do you guys have a fullback? No. Yeah, we can just sign somebody and cut a scrub. Huskies don't want any smoke, do they? Alright, we'll just sign CJ Uzomah. Is that fair with everybody? Going once, going twice? Make Anderson the tight end instead of signing one? I can do that instead. Unless you would rather have CJ Uzomah. Nevermind is in Anderson or Uzomah? Uzomah is in you want him. And then we would have to cut somebody else. Can you let, like, backup offensive linemen play tight end, though? I thought that was a thing. And then you guys have to cut another player. Any of these guys in specific you don't care about? Like Jonathan Claiborne? 77 speed? Can you sign somebody? No, because waivers isn't open. Hector's roster just had 1 tight end. You got hidden dev Shannon. Jonathan Claiborne, okay. You can let backup linemen, but you need at least 2 tight ends on the roster. It's only in 3 tight end sets. That makes a lot more sense. Who would you rather start at tight end, Uzomah or Noah Gray? Uzomah's better, but Gray was kind of the beast last week, from what I remember. I don't think it's too much of a difference. Noah Gray is quite a bit younger as well. Uzomah's like probably in his 30s at this point. Uzomah. Okay, now we're good. Had a tackle catch a 20-yard pass because he was playing tight end. Yeah, I've seen 3 tight end sets where tackles come in the game, but I didn't know if the game forced you to have 2. Although it makes sense, but I didn't know that was a thing. Alright, other than that, waivers are not open because everybody else has either the correct positional requirements or the game will give you somebody if you don't have the correct positional requirements. Hector's case was different because since we're watching them, we had to do it manually. Okay, Jax can pick his jerseys and then we can start. Do you want to wear orange or white? Is this the first time we've watched the Tigers this year? I think it is. Is there a Philly special? I think a couple playbooks had the Philly special. Does the Eagles one still have it in there somewhere? I think so. All orange. Okay. Now we're ready to go. A battle of old friends here in Chicago. Tom Brady, who is 47, I think, at this point, taking on his former backup, Hector Estrada Jr., who spent his rookie year with the Tigers before being traded to Toronto for a pretty big package, if I remember correctly. Hector's career was rocky to begin in Toronto, but this year the team is 6-0, led by his breakout start to the year. We'll see if they can make it 7-0. The Huskies are one of just 2 undefeated teams. The other one, Giddy's Salt Lake City Pioneers. Tom really does look like an old man. You're not wrong. So we get to start with the man, the myth, the legend, Hector Estrada Jr., who has over 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, and just 1 interception through 6 games. The Huskies had a big test in Watch last week, and they look good, showing that they can perform in Watched and in Sim. But the Tigers are a little bit better than the Cardinals, so this should be a bigger challenge for them. Hector's not going to become the king. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I still have 4 rings, you know. Hector has probably like 9 or 10 career wins. I have more playoff wins than that. I probably have double that in playoff wins at this point. Third and 2, they give it to Sermon. I don't know if he got it. He's close. They're not going to give it to him. Who's 20? I think that's Pete Werner. Yup. Pete Werner prevents him from getting the first down, and the Huskies are going to have to punt it. For the sake of our division, go Tigers. Because we cannot afford to lose any more ground on Toronto. How many more seasons before the long-term sim? So the goal has always been 2 more seasons after this one. So that way we can have the really big free agency where all of the top picks from the fantasy draft, their contracts are up. And from there, you got to make a few tough financial decisions. And we have 1 year after that. So that's why I plan on doing 2 more additional seasons. I would anticipate if we continue to move pretty fast that we end late September. Maybe? I'm not sure. That's like a guess. Good thing I traded all my good players except Nick Chubb. That's true. Teams like you and the Beats are another example. You guys don't have as many guys to pay because you traded all your high fantasy draft picks, but the Beats are also dead last in cap space, I think. Or maybe we're dead last, but we also have like $150 million opening up in the offseason. So even if we're last now, it doesn't really matter because everyone's on 1-year deals. What's good, real life? Welcome in. Hector is better than Tom Brady. Probably not. Maybe, I mean, through this year, I guess so. But I would still have more trust in Brady. Why are they having Brady run it? Why are they having Brady run read options? That's odd. I guess the Tigers saw what happened last year in the playoff game when Christian McCaffrey really struggled, and they were like, let's not run it with him. Let's run it with Tom Brady instead. Through 2 carries, McCaffrey is 4 yards and Brady is 11. So, I'm just saying. Maybe Brady can move like that. Apparently he can't throw like that as he misfires, so the Tigers are going to have to punt it. Brady is the GOAT at what? At being a grandpa? Oh, what a punt! Down at the 2. Good work by the Chicago punter. So the Huskies are backed up. Yeah, let's put McCaffrey at quarterback and Brady at running back. Brady is a better running back than Derrick Henry. It's not like Derrick Henry has carried the Jaguars this year or anything. But after those 2 runs by Tom Brady, even though he lost 4 yards on one of them, he is the next great running back. That pin was thicker than Octie's hair. That says something. Brady thinks he's Lamar. Apparently after today, Brady is Lamar. Do you think I'm a good coach? I mean, your team is 6-0, so you've got to be doing something right. So although you're new and it is harder to assess how good new people are, I would say for the most part you've done a pretty good job considering your team's winning a lot of games. Can I put on Echo voice? You guys like the Echo? Okay, I'll stop. That was mean. Claypool's hurt. Yeah, that could be bad. Everyone gets injured when they watch us. Well, that's because the injury sliders aren't on 0. Ooh, nice spin move. Noah Gray. Apparently, he's kind of good. I don't know why, but he played well last week when the 2 top tight ends got hurt. Flips it over to, would that be Uzoma? Because that doesn't look like Noah Gray. Noah Gray is white. Yes, that is CJ. Nice throw up the middle. The Huskies get the first down. They're keeping the chains moving. Hector's not looking too bad so far. Don't say he's white or black. Say he looks different. Okay. Meme of the year should be Noah Gray. Noah Gray's not at the tier of, like, the preseason Sims where we had everyone in the NFC North and the AFC West in the divisional round. I think that's probably the winner as of now. But I wouldn't be surprised if that changes. Like, if the Huskies go 17-0, then the answer is probably different. He is green. There you go. Or technically, wouldn't he be Gray? Because his last name is Gray. First quarter in the books, no score, but the Huskies are looking to change that. I think they have it in the red zone. No, but they're practically in the red zone. (17-0) is pretty much impossible. Through the OFL, we've never had a team go undefeated. I don't even know if we've ever had a team only lose 1 game. So we've never had that. We've also never had a team go 0-17, or I guess 0-16 before Madden 22. So, I mean, this year could change things, but I certainly wouldn't count on it. I kind of hope before OFL eventually were to end that at least one team goes undefeated or totally winless. How do you think I'm doing as a GM in Dublin? I mean, it seems like you have a clear direction so far, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's better to, like, have a clear motive of, like, trying to rebuild rather than make, like, some moves to tank and some moves to win. Nice touchdown by CJ Uzoma, by the way. Yeah, the Jets, I think, are the only winless team left. So if anyone goes 0-17 this year, it would be the Jets. But as we know, they always start the season off terribly, and they always figure it out. That was a 99-yard drive. Or I guess 98, because it started at the 2. The Jets are right where they want to be, although the AFC East is a lot better this year. The Beats have improved, the Patriots have improved, and I'd probably venture out to say the Dolphins have improved as well. Even though they made the playoffs last year, I feel like the Dolphins look more consistent this year. So everybody in the AFC East is better. Probably at their peak form. The Dolphins have never been this good in OFL 22. The Beats have never been this good. And the Patriots probably have never been this good. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging for the Jets. But if anyone can do it, they've done it. Glad to know I've already beat the Jets. Yeah, whoever loses to the Jets first is, well, they're not going to hear the end of it for a while. Never understood the term retool until I joined the OFL. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are trying to retool, which, again, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Build around your stars, but try to figure out how to make your roster, how do I say it, Madden-friendly? I don't really know how to describe it, but Tom Brady with another 13-yard. He has more rushing yards than passing yards. It's like they're literally trying to design their offense around Tom Brady running it. This is so weird. And he is intercepted on 3rd and 8, throwing it right into the hands of the defender. It's Bryce Hall with the interception. University of Virginia's finest. He brings it all the way to the 40. That was a horrible throw. Not only was it in double coverage, but he threw it right to him. So that was a pretty bad pass for the old man who maybe he should just be a running back from now on. Hector then on the very next play lobs it for the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. CJ Uzoma with his second score of the game. This is getting a little bit out of hand quickly within a matter of seconds. There's a reason why the Toronto Huskies have not lost a game yet this year. Hector launches an absolute beauty. Yeah, he's good. They're going to review it, though. Okay, hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Was he in bounds? Got to get both feet in. Kind of hard to tell. Usually when they review it in the end zone, he has both in. Yeah, he definitely got both feet in. That's a touchdown. It's not a great angle, but assuming his feet were on the ground, which I think they were, this play is going to stand. Yep, it is a touchdown. So it's now 14-0. It's not time to sim yet because we still have plenty of time in the second quarter. But if it is a 3-score game at any point in the second half, we will sim. Or if it just gets completely out of hand in the second quarter, which probably won't happen, but who knows? Can we punish the GM with the worst record? No, because sometimes people want to have bad records. They try to tank. So maybe a team wants to win 2 games to get the number 1 pick. You can't really punish them because they did what they had tried to do. So the Tigers have it back. Not a great start for them. Eternal Light Mode, yes. If it's a punishment, that's the one. Okay, now I kind of like this idea. The Tigers aren't out of it. Just because they don't have any momentum doesn't mean they can't come back from this. The Tigers are a team who have historically performed well in watch games. So I'm not ready to count them out. Still on light mode. When it was the last stream was what, Tuesday? So that's, I guess, 4 days ago. Hey, you're like 1% of the way there to doing it for a full year. Can't hear what you're saying, but at least I'm getting a good meal and watching OFL. That sounds pretty nice. So now we can gossip about the Ravens. Dan is a fraud. I'm kidding. Or maybe I'm not. Dan is only a fraud when his team wins, though. When he loses, he plays like Patrick Mahomes. When he wins, he looks like Mitchell Trubisky. What is the minimum speed threshold? I think it's whatever the base slider was on, because I don't think I changed that. So whatever the default one is, I assume probably 50. That's probably where it is. Tuesday at 3:58, you get a player. Yeah, that is correct. The Tigers sucked this game. Well, we can't say sucked like in the past tense because there's still plenty of time to go. So far, they are playing poorly. But if they can get something here, particularly on 3rd and 11, which they do, in the hands of, I believe, Jamison Williams. Go Lions. Don't diss my boy Money Mitch. I use Mitchell because it's not like Dan has been playing bad when his team wins. He just doesn't play good. That's why I used Money Mitch. The real MVP. Butte should be guillotined for disrespecting his grandfather. Oh, okay. You heard it here first, folks. Keishon Butte deserves to be guillotined. Still can't believe the Lions got James. I don't believe it either. I still don't know how the Minnesota Vikings did that deal. That still blows my mind. I'm not complaining, though, but thank you, Minnesota. Is there other ways to get a player besides torture? As of now, no. Torture's the fun way to do it. Why do we like torture here? I guess because Madden tortures everybody in the sim, so the more torture, the merrier? I don't know. What are the contenders for Meme of the Year? So certainly the preseason sims. Probably anything related to you again. I feel like there are some other ones that I'm missing. I would probably have to go back and look at some of the streams just to remind myself, because I feel like off the top of my head there are some really good ones, but I'm just totally forgetting about. And obviously we still have 2/3 of the season left to go as the Tigers score the touchdown. Mecole Hardman gets the score, so the Tigers bring you within 7, and Chicago opens up with the ball in the second half. I told you guys this game ain't over yet. Aaron Rodgers could be a meme because he's the worst quarterback, but you're 4-2. That's not a horrible option. Rodgers is dead last in pretty much every major passing statistic, yet his team, who has never been good, is winning. Here returns the Huskies, who their last drive was only one play. 40-yard touchdown from Hector to his new tight end, C.J. Uzomah. Do face cam. I'm pretty sure I've explained a couple times why I don't do face cam for OFL, or at least I haven't yet. But pretty much it's because my TV is not near my desk where I sit, and I also don't know where the face cam is. I bought it when I bought the PS5, but I don't think I've touched it since it came in the mail, so I have no clue where it is. They've got to move quick. They only have one timeout. Now they have none after wasting an additional 10 seconds because we know Madden does not care about managing the clock. Then look for it or steal someone else's. Yeah, that sounds like a perfect idea. Gotta go. Thanks for coming in, Giddy. They're not going to be able to run another playoff, are they? Oh, they will. Probably a Hail Mary, or maybe they should go for a short pass out of bounds. Okay, no. Hail Mary. Or short pass out of bounds, which doesn't matter because there's no time left on the clock. So that'll wrap up the first half. The Huskies are probably significantly looking better today, but they're only up by 7. The Tigers open up a ball in the second half, so Chicago certainly is far from out of it. That was stupid. Madden does a lot of stupid things. I don't think people would like 15-minute quarters. That sounds like a bad idea. I don't think we need to do that. You should do a stream where we watch every game of every week, or every game for the entire year. That would be probably about a week long. So, I guess if it was every game 1 week, it would be more like about 12 hours. Imagine if we did that for the 12-hour stream. Just watched every game in 1 week. Because each game is probably, what, 30 to 40 minutes? If it's not a sim. So, I guess that'd take 12 hours. And if we did them all for each game, it'd be like a week. Tigers have to punt it as the Huskies get the stop. I can finally have the volume up. Oh, so you missed our gossip about you, wink wink. Did he catch that? He was out of bounds, but that's a nice catch. Hector is 16 for 18 with 2 touchdowns. He is balling right now. Third and 1. They should probably run it. And as I say that, there's nobody in the backfield except for Hector. Well, they got it, so I guess it worked out. Hector apparently does no ball. I would say more so Hector knows how to play ball. Hector definitely doesn't know ball, but he can play ball. Another throw, I think, back to CJ Uzoma, who has been a machine today. 8 for 95 and 2 touchdowns in his Husky debut. Apparently Dan likes kids. Dan pretty much is a kid. He's only 20. Although that's still not a kid, so that's still weird. Are we going to have to cancel Dan and force him to retire now? 2nd and 11, Hector launches a prayer downfield. It's caught by Mike Evans for the touchdown. Another prayer from Hector is hauled in for the score, and Toronto is back up by 2 possessions. Hector can sling it. He can sling that rock. The longer I go on light mode, instead of making more players, can I make the one player better? I would say that's fair. Yeah. Why do you think Dan's jersey number is 5? Is that how he likes him? So the Tigers get it back. If they don't score here, they're in a little bit of trouble. Back down by 14 with still enough time to come back. But they should probably start now. Dan is the new Karl Malone of sports. At least Karl Malone didn't go after people who were 5, for Christ's sake. Scream in... I don't think we need that loud. EA is sucking off the Huskies. I mean, considering they won 5 games last year and are now 6-0, I can't say you're totally wrong. No, Dan changes his jersey number to 1. Oh boy. Carl was 21, so that means Dan has another year. That was right in the breadbasket. He should have caught that. Huskies fans are wild. I don't think there are any Huskies fans here. At least in this stadium, considering it's in Chicago. Which I guess now that I think about it, isn't that far away from Toronto. Echo for the rest of the stream, and I'll do light mode for a year. Yeah, no, I'm good, because that punishes everybody else. That's a nice throw. Over to Evan Engram. Oh, it definitely punishes. Echo for 1 quarter, I trade Hector. Why do I doubt that? It enlightens and make it sound strong and to fear you. I don't want people to fear me. You can never count out Tom Brady. That's true. And the Tigers are certainly hanging in there. Even if the Huskies have looked better today, Chicago still has plenty of time to do this. Octi is 5-3. Who would fear? First of all, no. No. Imagine needing someone to do something first before doing light mode for a year. You getting used to it? Good. I mean, your eyes are going to burn within a week, but good. Good for you. Not fear in a bad way, do it in a learning... How would I do it in a learning way? Oh, they're going for it. I respect the balls. Yeah, this is the right call. Make it a 1-score game. I think that's going to be a roughing the passer. I think this play's going to stand. That looks like a late hit. That should be a roughing the passer. Oh, it's pass interference. So the play will still stand. And it's a touchdown. Name one actor who's ever been over 6 feet. None that I know of. Brady should have done a read option. Fred Warner, I'll take Fred Warner. I mean, the penalty was declined, though. Should have accepted it to eat the clock. Yeah, but that was the Tigers who got to pick, and they need as much time as they can get. And still, even if it was Toronto, they'd be kind of... If the Tigers were winning, they would still decline that penalty. You might as well take the touchdown rather than eat like 5 seconds. I will do bad things to have Fred Warner on my team, so if you're actually willing to trade him, you know who to call. Hector is still only thrown 2 incompletions the entire game. That's insane. Third quarter in the books. The Huskies are looking good. They lead 21-14, and they have the ball. The Tigers aren't out of it, but Toronto is pretty close to 7-0. Bought some ice cream yesterday, and I'm now just realizing I ate someone else's ice cream. Oh. Fun. Give me Myles Garrett. Okay, how about no? If you manage to get Greg Dortch, I'll trade him. So why would I trade him to you in the first place? That would give me a big cap penalty. I might as well keep him. Fred Warner for Greg Dortch. That's not really fair for us, though. If we were to get Greg Dortch, why would I trade him? Because apparently, according to you, he's really good. Wink, wink. Trade Bope McNutt and give me a 7th. Sure, okay, I'll take it. Bope McNutt is superstar. I could probably flip him for more. Toronto's now running the ball a lot. Even though Trey Sermon is one of the lower-rated backs in the league, he is still pretty good. I'll give you... Oh, Trey Sermon's off to the races! 38-yard touchdown. The Huskies are back up by 14. How could you give us the quarterback you cut, though? Because you cut him. He's not yours. Good run, though, for Sermon. So the Huskies are back up by 14. Now the Tigers really got to get it going. Their defense has been pretty bad today. Make every player in the league superstar. That sounds like a horrible idea. I don't even know if the game would let me do that. Yeah, that sounds, with all due respect, it does not sound good. Why is it? Because there are only certain players who are superstar level players. We don't need everybody to be good. Because then everybody's going to want more money. Everybody's going to develop into like super high overalls, and the league's just going to become super inflated with talent. So that would just be like a bad idea. That'd be an interesting experiment, but that'd also go downhill in 2 years when we have 90 overall players as backups or in free agency asking for $70 million contracts. There's a nice play to the 49 for Evan Engram. That was nearly picked off. That could have been kind of bad. How did you like your idea for next OFL? Let me pull it up real quick just so I can explain it to everybody because I honestly think it's a pretty good idea. Ooh, Twitter notification. Who's it from? Is it basketball? No, it's from Schefter. Okay, I don't care. Okay, so everyone can understand Nick and Ader's idea. His suggestion was retro OFL. We start in like 2010 with like the 2010 rosters. No fantasy draft. We go year by year. Each of the draft classes are a real-life one. So, like, we would download the 2011 draft class. Hold on, it's a 4th down. I want to see what happens here. Then I'll go back to it. Nice catch. Okay, so as I was saying, we would use for real draft classes. So, 2011. Who got picked in 2011? That was the year Cam Newton got drafted. So, like, Cam Newton, Von Miller, J.J. Watt, all those guys are in the draft class. We wouldn't do scouting because we know how good everybody is. So, pretty much, it's like going back in time 10 years. I feel like that'd be fun. That's probably something where we would need to download for rosters, but I think that'd be like pretty nostalgic too, because that's like right when I got into the NFL. So that's an option we could keep on the table for Madden 23. I assume within a month or two of Madden 23 being released, there's going to be some form of retro rosters. Maybe it's not exactly 2010, but in the ballpark, another read option rushing touchdown. And it's coming back. That is super depressing. But I feel like that'd be fun to go back in time for one. I already know which team I would want. If Calvin Johnson's in the league, I am getting dibs on the Lions. But, yeah, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Brady just... I didn't even notice. He's stiff-armed him like Derrick Henry. Not going to matter because what the penalty? It's picked off. This is going to go for a pick 6, probably. Unless Jamison Williams catches him, which he will at the 20. Desmond King in his first game as a Husky with probably the game-clinching interception. I probably wouldn't do relocation if we did retro, though. Please put in Trayvon. I don't do substitutions mid-game. It's probably not going to matter, though, because the Huskies are about to turn it into a sim. There you go. They get the touchdown. It's Hector's 4th of the ball game. Who's 19? They have Deebo Samuel? I forgot about that. That's right. They did get Deebo, didn't they? I totally forgot about that trade, too. Well, it's sim time. Wait, they didn't get Deebo. What am I talking about? Oh, that's Curtis Samuel. I'm an idiot. I was like, that looked like Deebo. Deebo wears 19, and that looked like him. So that's why for a second I thought it was him. No, Deebo's on London. I'm stupid. That looked like Deebo, and it's Deebo's jersey number. That's why I got confused. Because I'm pretty sure he usually wears one shooter sleeve. Make everyone normal dev at a 0 overall. Those watch games will be something. We could still do reload with like the Rams, Raiders, and that's true. We would want to move those teams back. Can you move teams to Oakland? I know St. Louis and San Diego are in the game. I don't know if Oakland is, though. If those cities are in the game for Madden 23, we would definitely move those teams back. There'd be no point of having the Rams in LA if we're going to do retro. We would have the current uniforms, but that's fine. Unless we did it on like Madden 10, but I don't know how I'd be able to do OFL on like an old Madden. You can move to Oakland. Okay, perfect. So looking at the numbers, Brady was okay. He did throw 2 interceptions. Hector Estrada was a machine. Probably going to win Player of the Week. He is really making an MVP case for himself. Trey Sermon got hurt. Oh! He played well when he was healthy, but apparently he's not healthy. Would we get it? No, we would. I would just download like an old roster and old draft classes. I assume those are in the game. I would think. So no, I don't think we would have to use like a mod or anything. Oakland was like St. Louis. You can't change the name of the team. Well, that's fine because we wouldn't need to change the name of the team. We would want to keep them as the Raiders. We don't need the Oakland Lumberjacks. Okay, what happened to Trey Sermon? Mecole Hardman tore his abdominal. That is a big deal. Trey Sermon is fine. But Mecole Hardman getting hurt is not insignificant. We need the Oakland terrorists. Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic idea. All right, time to sim. Did I press stats? I did this last time, too. Okay, we're going to see players of the week before we see what actually happens again. Matt Corral. We didn't play the Bears, did we? I think we played the Bears this week. Matt Corral, Carson Strachan, Kenneth Murray, and Zaven Collins. Interesting. We'll see if those teams actually won or not. The deal is still... I thought the deal was 17-0, and you guys win the OFL Bowl. Oh, we had a bye week. Okay, cool. The Wizards have lost 3 in a row, and they've scored at least 24 points in all 3 of their losses. Their defense is blowing it. Both Patrick Mahomes and C.J. Stroud played well. Derrick Henry is playing even better than he did last year, and that says something because he was a machine last year. He was an MVP candidate last year, and he's been better this year. He is, at this point, probably going to be an MVP candidate again, maybe an MVP favorite, because he is putting the Jags on his back, although C.J. Stroud did play well today. The Aviators beat the football team 31-24. Columbus is honestly not that bad. I thought they were going to be towards the bottom of the league, but now they're 3-3. Carson Strachan played really well, and Washington still can't seem to win. Rondale Moore plays well. He scored twice. 2 sacks for Kenneth Murray. Kyle Duggar had another pick. Kyle Duggar is that dude. The Bats, beat the Shamrocks 35-24. Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson both played well. Kareem Hunt did too. Guess who has Washington's first round? Are you lucky duck? The Bears score 45 against the struggling Detroit Lions. Matt Corral throws for 5 touchdowns, winning Player of the Week over Hector Estrada Jr. Deshaun Watson was pretty bleh. So the Lions are clearly bad. That poor start was not a fluke. They're just not a good team. The Beats squeak by the Niners 16-14. Okay, what the hell all happened here? Okay, so first off, I have some explaining to do with this. So Aaron Rodgers did not play. Nick Nader DM'd me. He wanted it to be a surprise that Zach Wilson is the Niners starter, and he played about as well as Aaron Rodgers has been playing. Joe Burrow over here not only struggled, but he must have gotten hurt. Matthew Stafford came in, and he actually played well. What an odd game. So Matthew Stafford is better than Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Zach Wilson confirmed. That's how I take this. The Bisons still are struggling. They have lost 5 in a row, I think, as they lose to the Dolphins 28-10. Miami adds another win. Big game from Cam Akers. Julian Fleming scores twice. 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks in real life are on the same team, and the one who lost is the starter. The Black Knights beat the Bucks 35-23. London's offense is legit. Jordan Love has been, 5 touchdowns. He has been really good since coming over to London. I knew there was a reason to hold out hope for Jordan Love. There's Deebo Samuel. He's not on the Huskies. He's on the Black Knights. May I ask for a playbook change? I only do playbook changes in between streams. I do depth chart changes in between games, though. So if you have an emergency depth chart thing you need to fix, I can do that. The Chiefs beat the Browns 24-18. I can't count. The Chiefs scored all of their points in the first half. The Browns scored all of their points in the second half. Both quarterbacks played well. Russell Wilson's been really good in recent weeks. It hasn't totally transferred into wins, but he's playing well. Nobody ran the ball well at all. Jamar Chase was very good. This Emmett Barton guy is still a beast. 2 sacks for Chris Jones and Nick Bosa. Russ might be a legit MVP candidate yet, but Browns only have 3 wins. My emergency depth chart change is to change my offense. That's not depth chart, bud. Cardinals in a bye week. Chiefs won. The Ravens have won 5 in a row. They didn't even win 5 games all of last year. And Dan was actually really good. This is the first time he's played well in a win, throwing for 3 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield was pretty bleh. So all the really bad teams last year, like London, Toronto, Baltimore, they were the 3 worst teams in the league last year. Hell, Brooklyn. Brooklyn was bad too. All those teams are over 500 right now. They said Dan was better. Dan threw 3 touchdowns. He was pretty good. The Chiefs are this is the Dolphins. The Dolphins are very quietly 5-2. They are legit good. The Falcons beat the Panthers 24-17, even though Carolina beat them in like every stat. Brady Boatwell was good. Bryce Young has played really badly the past couple of weeks. Bryce Young started the year off on fire. In like the past 3 or 4 weeks, he's been kind of bad. The Cardinals had a bye week, so you guys didn't play. That means you didn't lose, but you also didn't win. Washington lost. They've lost 4 in a row. The Niners win streak ended. The Giants have lost 3 in a row. They lose to the Saints. How do we get crushed by Mexico? That was a game Lamar Jackson had 6 picks. What if I told you the Huskies would be 7-0 next year? I would say you're out of your mind. Trey Lance and Mac Jones were both fine. This was a 6-point game. Did the Saints win it in overtime, possibly? They did. Yeah, Mexico City's good. They were in the OFL Bowl just last year. They almost won it. If not for the Keenan Allen play. The Jets had a bye week. They didn't lose. They didn't win, but they didn't lose. The Pats beat the Rams 21-14, so I guess the Boomy curse is over because New England actually won, although Trevor Lawrence didn't play all that well, but he outperformed his former Clemson teammate, DJ Uiagalelei. IT Thomas wasn't too bad in the loss. Tyquan Lewis, 2 sacks. The Pioneers had a bye week, so their undefeated season stays intact. We'll see if they can make it 7-0 as we watch them against the Diablos on Monday Night Football. That's probably everybody. Seattle had a bye week. Yep, that is everybody. The bye week continues its win streak, defeating the Jets. So we still have 2 undefeated teams, and we still have 1 winless team, thanks to Toronto winning and the Jets and Pioneers not playing. So the Ravens now lead the AFC North kind of comfortably. They're a game and a half ahead of the Aviators, a game and a half ahead of the Aviators, 2 ahead of the Browns and the Shamrocks. The Tigers still lead the South despite losing. The Dolphins and Patriots are tied in the East. All 3 of these teams won this week, so it's even though the Jets didn't play, it still feels like a loss. So, in fact, the bye week did defeat the Jets this week. The Pioneers didn't play, they still lead the West. Kansas City and Mexico City are also in the fight as well. The Huskies are 7-0. They're 2.5 ahead of Minnesota. The Saints are half a game ahead of the Panthers. Black Knights now lead the NFC East. And the Niners still lead the West despite losing. When is your bye week? Let's see. Tigers' bye week is this week. The Huskies is also this week. So the Huskies are guaranteed to stay undefeated after today's stream. All right, so the next game we've got is, I assume the Pioneers and Diablo still won. Yep. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 1. That is Salt Lake City. We're only watching relocation teams today, I just realized. What is good? Nick, how you doing? You guys lost your first game today to the Chiefs. Russell Wilson played well, but nobody else did. These teams don't really have fun jersey combos, do they? Do they have, like... Do their main colors look similar to where it would look bad if Pioneers wore their home jerseys? No, it's fine. The Pioneers are brownish. Yeah, I kind of want to see these jerseys in action. Because I'm the only one who likes them. So here we go, Monday night primetime football. The defending champion of the AFC, the Mexico City Diablos, who have been pretty good this year. They're 4-2. They are coming off a loss to Dan's Baltimore Ravens. But the Diablos are not a bad... No, the Diablos are 4-3. I can't count. But they're 4-3. They're having a good year. They haven't been great, but they've been good. They're taking on their division rivals who have been great this year, the 6-0 Salt Lake City Pioneers. One of just 2 undefeated teams, along with the 7-0, somehow, by the grace of God himself, Toronto Huskies. The Huskies have ended the bye week's winning streak. Imagine how sad it must be when you have less undefeated streaks than the Aviators. I mean, clearly the Aviators aren't that bad of a team, though. 3-3, Carson Strong is... Carson Strong might be the most inconsistent player in the league. He has some really bad weeks and some really good weeks. There's like no in-between with him. But it seems like he has more really good games than really bad games. But just his really bad games, he plays horribly. Mexico City starts with the ball. The Diablos won 1 championship in OFL 21 with yours truly running the show for them. They lost one as well in OFL 21. Of course, they made it last year here in OFL 22, which they almost won. But they didn't because Keenan Allen is good at football. That probably should have been picked off. Pioneers win 45-3. Mexico City's good. Don't sleep on them. They're good. And they're good in watch games. There's a reason why they made the OFL Bowl last year. Salt Lake City's the better team here. They should win. I'm curious to see what Jerome Diggs does today. I don't think we've seen him in action in a watched game yet. The former Aviator. Right? He was on the Aviators last year, wasn't he? I think so. Yeah, you guys traded him. That's what I thought. Russ is having an MVP type year, yet you're 3-4. Yep, pretty much. Russ has been significantly better than he was a year ago. Yet you guys aren't winning more games. Doesn't Javonte Williams come back this week, though? I'm pretty sure he only had 1 more week of his injury going into last week. I might be wrong about that. But I think he's back, which is helpful. Diggs under pressure. He is sacked by Shepard. Diggs probably has been better than Strong. Diggs is like right at the top of the league in terms of like passer rating. So he has probably been better than Strong, although Carson Strong has had a lot of really good games this year. So I guess I would say it's worked out for both parties. Oh, what a punt! Down at the 8. Can one of the game options next week be the Aviators? I've been sort of waiting for the Aviators to be not bad, and now that I realize they're not bad, if they have an interesting game, then I'll probably put them on the poll, because I kind of want to see Carson Strong. So if we extended Darius Garland, got Kareem. All right, you have fun with that. You don't know how you're leading the division? Probably because the division's been kind of bad this year. The Rams have taken a step down, the Seahawks have taken a small step down, and the Cardinals haven't been all that impressive either. Imagine if we lose to the Jets. That'd be kind of bad. You were saying how whoever loses to the Jets needs to be punished. That'd be really funny if it ended up being you guys. Strong probably has more touchdowns because the Pioneers have had a bye week. But Strachan does have a lot of touchdowns. I assume he's definitely in the top 10. That was not a very good punt. We had a one-up punt earlier, and now we had a what the hell was that? Is it windy? Maybe it's windy. Is there a lot of wind in Mexico? I wish we had Hector still here. He would know. We own the Jets' first-round picks in the next 2 years. Well, you guys are looking pretty good in that aspect. I guess Garrett probably shouldn't have traded away his picks, because those picks are pretty valuable. He got Amari. Amari is not worth the #1 pick, though. So, Amari can be spicy all he wants, but 3rd and 6. Nice throw to the 17. From Jerome Diggs over to whoever 16 is. Devin Duvernay. The former Raven. He was on the Ravens here, wasn't he? I think so. That throw was not as good. The Pioneers can truly say they might have 2 MVP candidates if Jerome Diggs keeps it up, because he has been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league, and obviously Joe Mixon's playing great too. Speaking of, Diggs to Mixon from a first down. Mexico City is 7,200 feet above sea level, so there's that. That would mean the wind is probably closer, so that would probably mean there's more wind, I would think. Is there more Sweat? Well, there's Montez Sweat, who gets the sack, the 3rd of the game for the Diablos already. This is like the Diablos pass rush last year with Garrett and Barrett. And Javon Kinlaw, too. He was cool. We had Kinlaw last year, I think. Didn't we? I think so. Now a 3rd and goal. And Mexico City gets the touchdown. It's Joe Mixon. Touchdowns should be worth 3, field goals 1, safeties -2. Why should safeties be -2? That would mean a safety is more valuable than a field goal, which probably shouldn't be true. Yeah, I don't think we need negatives on the scoreboard. That would be weird. I don't know if I would like that. Good run for Dalvin Cook, who's been quite good himself this year. Maybe not as good as Mixon, but he's been right there. Imagine the scoregami though. There would be some really weird scores. 10 to -2. Ew. That'd be weird. That's going to be a hold to end the quarter against Kellen Deach, Arizona State's finest. 7 to -4. That'd be 2 safeties in one game. 50. How are you going to get 50? That's a lot of touchdowns. 6 to 1 could actually be a thing. You know, safety and a field goal versus 2 touchdowns. Or no, that'd be 3 field goals. Or that'd be a touchdown and a safety. That could be a lot of different things. There's Dalvin Cook with a big run. One man to beat, and he doesn't beat him, but it's still a good run. What X Factor safety do they have? Is that Kyle Hamilton? Does he have X Factor? I thought he only had Superstar. I said 6 was 2 touchdowns. I mixed up the other one. I thought it said -1. Score is 3-0 Pioneers. 3rd and 9. They actually have to throw it. The Diablos don't really want to throw it, which, I mean, they should be a run-first team, but you got to throw it. Or just keep giving the ball to Dalvin Cook, because he's the only guy who apparently they trust. Which I guess makes sense, because he's by far the best player on the offense. I should play you in Fall Guys. Well, that would require me to have Fall Guys, and I don't. So, yeah. The Pioneers get it back. They lead 7-3. Jerome Diggs has been pretty good so far. It's early. They're not really trying to run it, though, which is odd, because Joe Mixon is kind of good. As Diggs is sacked for a 4th time today. Why does it say 3? It definitely said 3 the last time they had a sack. My guy, it's 3. And yes, my guy, I don't have the space, though. That would require me to get space. Diggs makes up for the sack. They get 27. It's again Devin Duvernay, the former Raven. Make space. Well, that's a lot easier said than done, though. Because I don't really have anything I can delete at the moment. There's a good run for Mixon, who's been quiet today. He did score. Who started the ball again? Was the first drive of the game the touchdown scoring drive by the Pioneers? I feel like the Diablos had it first. Yeah, I think they had a 3-and-out. So I'm pretty sure Salt Lake City opens up with the ball in the second half. So if they can score here and not keep too much time left on the clock, that could be a big deal. So are we down for retro? We have to figure all this out with like a vote and stuff. But if enough people want to do retro rosters and stuff, then I would be 100% down to do that. Assuming there would be retro rosters on Madden 23. Oh, fumble, and it's picked up by Mexico City. Leo Chanel recovers it. We'll see if the play stands. Yeah, they're going to review it. Was he down? Whenever they reviewed fumbles, he was down. So this is probably going to be overturned. Yeah, Nick must have missed it. So let me explain for him as well as anybody else who wasn't here earlier today. But Nick and Ader DM'd me an idea a couple years ago. I'm stupid. A couple days ago. I can't speak apparently. The idea was that we used like rosters from 2010 or something. We used like the real draft classes, so the next one would be 2011 with Cam Newton, Von Miller, etc. We wouldn't do a fantasy draft. We would just use for real rosters. We wouldn't do scouting because we know how good everybody is. And that's just an idea we could consider for OFL 23, assuming there would be old rosters in the game. It wouldn't necessarily have to be 2010, but I'd probably want it to be in that range because that's when I started watching football. I know that's probably around a lot when a lot of other people started watching here. So I'd rather do that than like 1990 when we know like 4 players on each team. But that's just an option. We could always, if more people would prefer a fantasy draft with the current rosters, we could very easily do that. But if enough people want retro, I think that'd be a lot of fun. As long as we would have good draft classes and stuff, because I wouldn't want to use bad ones. Joe Mixon gets his second touchdown of the game. So it's now 14-3. I imagine there are probably good ones available on the Vault. Another option, if there aren't any, we could always use an older Madden. Like, I know everybody who was in OFL 20 will say that was probably the most fun OFL. So if there's something on, like, Madden 20 with older rosters, technically it doesn't even really matter which Madden we use. Because, I mean, every Madden game in the last 5 years is pretty much the same. So we wouldn't have the cool new free agency thing, which would kind of suck. But if enough people would want the old rosters, then I would be more than willing to do that. The issue of using like a super old Madden would be, I don't know how easy it would be to control every team for like Madden 12 or Madden 13 or something. I know you also can't download the real draft classes because I don't think the servers work. Madden 12, you can control every team easily. Well, if I were to figure out how to make all of that work, and if enough people wanted it, if we could make it, if watched games are like fun and interesting, then I'm not totally opposed to that either. I don't think I have Madden 12 on the Wii. We obviously wouldn't do that. I also don't think I have a Wii anymore. So I'd probably have to get it for like my Xbox, or is it on the Switch? No, but it might be on the Wii U. It'd probably be easier to do on the Xbox. Although I feel like I had like Madden either 12 or 13 for the Wii U, and it was honestly pretty fun. Old retro thing on Madden 20, there are a few decent options. You just have to make a few changes because some players in the classes are like 90 overall. Well, there are good rosters, and, fumble. But since they're reviewing it, it's going to be overturned again. But, like, if there's, like, good draft classes and good rosters on, like, Madden 20, then I'd be cool with going back to 20. When it comes to franchise gameplay, you can control both teams. Pretty sure you can watch as well. As long as it's similar enough to what we currently have. And obviously Madden 12's franchise was deeper. Again, we wouldn't be able to have the real-life classes, but I know some of those fake classes are pretty fun. So that'd be a fun option. And then everything else would probably be the same. Free agency for the most part. Trades, drafting, contracts. Although I imagine the salary cap then was smaller. So I think some of the biggest contracts are going to be cheaper. Yeah, is there a way to turn the timer off? Because we can't really use a timer for free agency here. You can do some testing on Madden 12 since you have the game and have played it a lot. Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to doing like Madden 12. And those rosters are old enough to where it's like totally different. I was right during Calvin's peak too. I'd have to pick the Lions again there. That was when Stafford was young. Probably like 23, 24. I don't think they had development traits back then, which is a little bit annoying. But we can make it work. Stream the free agency. The problem with that is, though, if people can't make the stream, like, you know, life gets in the way, it happens, then how would they be able to do free agency? I feel like that would just be way too complicated. They had potentials. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Nice touchdown from Diapos. But now that you say that, I do remember there being, like, potentials. That's when you could, like, scout any attribute. So, like, you could figure out their rating and their potential well before the draft. I think you could also do that with XP. That was back when, like, with the XP, you could use that however you wanted. I think right when we started OFL is when they brought the skill points in. Yeah, I think Madden 18 was the last time you could just use your XP on any attribute. And we started in Madden 19 when the skill points came. At first, I didn't really like the skill points, but as it's gone on, I realized, like, it's definitely better than the old XP, because you couldn't upgrade, like, any of the athletic attributes. Like, you could get 30,000 XP for a season, and that's, like, really good, and all you can do is go +1 speed. Like, with the skill points, that happens a lot more commonly. So, I would say it's definitely better the way it is. Madden 12 had backload. Ooh, that's nice. Where you can back and front load it, I imagine. I'd go from Russ at quarterback to Colt McCoy. Yeah, that's quite the difference. And that was back when the Lions were good. That was like right when we had that young core coming up. Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, when he was supposed to be good. That was before like Javid Best and Titus Young kind of fell through. Those Lions teams were fun. We had some good guys in the secondary like Louis Delmas and Chris Houston. I think that was right before we would have gotten Darius Slay. Maybe we had DeAndre Levy back then before he was kind of good for a couple of years. You could re-sign people. You can re-sign people in week like 3 in Madden, current Madden. What was Peyton Hillis' base rating in that game? Because there's no way they could have given him like a 90. He was never that good. Oh yeah, those were the super team Eagles years when they were supposed to be really good and just weren't really good. Years, you could re-sign people years earlier? I like don't remember that being a thing. Huh. He was a 92? Good God. Was he, like, that good in 20... I need to see his numbers from 2011. Was he ever that good? I'm Googling this. Hold on. In 2011, he had nearly 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns on 4.4 yards per carry. I mean, that's good. He had 61 catches, too. Okay, maybe 92, because they were more lucrative with the ratings back then. Like, each team had multiple 99s. Back in, like, the Madden 12 days, well, I guess each, like, not terrible team. So, probably not the Browns, but there were, like, probably 20 or 30 99s in the base roster. Ooh, strip sack! That ball is clean out. Peyton Hillis is the new Nick Chubb clears that fraud. Nick Chubb probably has more rushing yards in the last, like, 2 years than Peyton Hillis did in his whole career. Richard Sherman is like a 56. Jeez, that must have been right before he became good. But even so, they don't rate 5th-round rookies 56 overall now. They only rate, like, really bad quarterbacks in the 50s. 4th and goal, they're kicking wusses. I forgot Sherman played wide receiver, that's right. He wasn't drafted as a receiver, was he? I know he started as a receiver, but did he? I assume he switched in college. Yeah, he did it in college. Okay, that's what I thought. You don't see many position changes like that in the NFL. You have your Julian Edelmans, but that's rare. Playing each game in the NFL season, it's like week 5, and me playing as Frank Gore is Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry combined while on crack. I feel like Frank Gore would be really good in like Madden soon. Frank Gore was a little bit older in 2012 compared to other running backs, which is ironic because, well, he retired after like all of them, but that's because Frank Gore's not human. That was when Joe Flacco was elite. Now things have changed. Oops, what happened here? Yeah, Madden 12 did a fantasy draft, but I think if we did retro, it would be more fun to just keep the current rosters as they were. Arian Foster, he was a beast. Wasn't he undrafted? And then he had like 3 or 4 years where he was legit one of the best running backs in the NFL, and then he kind of fell off pretty fast. That was when they had Andre Johnson, too. Those Texans teams were pretty fun. That's like right the first time when they were getting good. With young J.J. Watt and Matt Schaub as quarterback. That was right before they added DeAndre Hopkins. They have coaches that can become coordinators. They had like the real coordinators? I don't remember that being a thing. Dalvin Cook is in the zone. Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan. They would have to play each other twice a year because I assume Cortland Finnegan was still on the Titans at that point. We know those two guys are great friends. Real great friends. Might have to take a return to Minnesota and turn Christian Ponder into an MVP. Good old Christian Ponder. What a guy. Asante, yeah, that was like right at the end of Asante Samuel's career. Or didn't he play for the Falcons after the Eagles? So maybe he wasn't right at the end. But yeah, Asante Samuel was good. Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert. There are a lot of bad quarterbacks then who maybe we could make good. Ryan Fitzpatrick with Stevie Johnson. That name I haven't seen in like a while. That's when they had, I think, Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller, too, out of the backfield. That's a fun offense. I assume they had Fred Jackson then. I know they had Spiller, because he was like, wasn't he like a top 10 pick? He was picked high. And he was really good early on, and then he just kind of fell off. Yeah, 2011, we had Cam. You had all those guys behind him, like Gabbert and Locker and Ponder. And all those guys sucked, but then we have Andy Dalton in the second round, who was pretty good. Josh Freeman was an 87. Was he ever good enough to be an 87? (2010) Marshawn was still in Buffalo, so that was right before they traded him. Broncos had... Ooh, they have Tebow. We should get Nick Adams to join the league. Then he'll be the Broncos. Chiefs had Matt Castle when Matt Castle was a starter. I feel like a lot of people are going to want to use Denver for Tebow. Honestly, I don't blame them. That'd be fun. If not for Calvin Johnson and being in the league, hell, I'd probably want to use Denver too. And that's when that's right when they were about to get good. So they would have had young Von Miller, Demaryius Thomas. Do they still have Noshawn Moreno as a running back? Probably. Josh McDaniels was probably their head coach. Brandon Marshall might have still been there. No. I think he joined the Bears before 2012. I think. Yeah, you can use Seattle, try to recreate the Legion of Boom with 56 overall Richard Sherman. I would probably edit to make Richard Sherman good, though. Like, we could mess around for rosters and, like, make certain players develop well, like Richard Sherman. I forgot Brandon Marshall was in Miami. I think you're right. Brandon Marshall was on the Dolphins. I totally forgot that was a thing. Yeah, he was in Miami for 2 years, in 2010 and 2011, which is when Madden 12 would have been out. And then after that is when he joined the Bears. I forgot he was on the Dolphins. He played for the Giants in 2017. I never knew he played on the Giants either. He was only in Chicago for 3 years. It feels like he was there for like 7. Huh. The more you know. Yeah, that's probably right when Washington and McNabb. Who else would have been on Washington? I know they would have had Alfred Morris, and they still would have been the name redacted. Will we have to be able to call them the Redskins then? I guess we'd have to. Who is the Dolphins quarterback? That would be after Chad Pennington. I honestly, who was after Chad Pennington? Let's look up the 2011 Miami Dolphins. They went 6-10. Todd Bowles was their... Oh, he was their interim coach. They had Tony Sperano, who they fired. I never knew Todd Bowles was an interim coach. I know Dan Campbell was an interim coach for them like 4 years later. The Dolphins quarterback, their main QB was Matt Moore. They had Matt Moore start 12 games. How could you run out as an NFL franchise and have Matt Moore as a starter for 12 games? And he went 6-6. He wasn't even that bad. They also have Chad Henne, who went 0-4. They had Reggie Bush. That's right before he joined us. They had Devone Bess on that team. I remember him. Devone Bess, Brandon Marshall, Brian Hartline. He was good. He was good when he played. Now he's good at recruiting, but... That's a fun receiving trio. Devone Bess. I don't think I've seen that name in about 6 years. Brian Hartline and Brandon Marshall. All of whom were in their mid-20s. Vontae Davis was probably on the Dolphins then. You're right. They had Charles Clay as their tight end when he was 22. Young Sean Smith. Cam Wake, young Rashad Jones, Carlos Dansby. This is a fun team, low-key. Koa Misi, Randy Starks. Their kicker was Dan Carpenter. There are 5 minutes left in this game, by the way. That's fun. Remember when the Bills had Paul Puzzlesning? Yeah, right. That would have been right before he joined the Jaguars. If we use Madden, we wouldn't be able to use for real-life draft classes because I don't think the servers work. So we would have to use the fake ones, which isn't ideal, but it's fine. I don't think you could edit any of the players after they got drafted, though. And you could only, like, make their positions, like... small changes. Like, if you have a defensive end, I think the only changes you could make would be to, like, maybe make them a defensive tackle. But, like, you didn't have the flexibility to, like, completely change their positions. Only for, like, scheme reasons. And that's when players' ratings went up and down based on the scheme. So you could have somebody who's, like, a 73 overall, but depending on the scheme, he turns into an 86. The Bears with Smoke and Jay. Matt Forte was on that team. That would be right before Brandon Marshall joined. Who else would they have had at receiver? The 2011 Dolphins offensive coordinator was Brian Daboll. I never knew that. They had Brian Daboll and Todd Bowles on the same staff. That's interesting. Yeah, the Bears had Lovie Smith. Their defensive coordinator was Rod Marinelli. Yuck. They had Josh McCown. The 2011 Bears had 32-year-old Josh McCown as their third-string quarterback. They had their best receiver statistically was actually Matt Forte, which I guess isn't really a surprise. That team also had Devin Hester, though, and Johnny Knox. So that's low-key a fun team. The names, yeah, Madden generated some weird names back then, which is good. Say we just use Madden 20. I'm not opposed to that either. Madden 20 we have experience with. I know how to use it. I know it's fun. We would have to go back to the PS4. But now that I know how to plug the mic in, the audio would still be good like it is now. Julio, Roddy White, young Matt Ryan, and Michael Turner. And did the Falcons still have Tony Gonzalez then? Like super old Tony Gonzalez? Yeah, the Falcons were really good back then. Yeah, 10-6. Mike Smith was their coach. I don't know who that is. Yeah, they had Matt Ryan, Michael Turner, Jaquiz Rogers, rookie Julio, Roddy White, Harry Douglas, 35-year-old Tony Gonzalez, Eric Weems. He was a really good special teamer. Yeah, that Falcons offense was loaded. Joshua Rottenkolber. Yeah, that's a good quarterback name. Colts would be really interesting. Yeah, because that's Madden 12 would be, and that would be after the 2013 draft. So that's when Andrew Luck would have been in year 2. So the guys picked in 2013 would have all been rookies. That was the horrible quarterback year with E.J. Manuel and Geno Smith as like the two best guys. I think Mike Glennon was in that class too. That 2013 class was better than people realized. It's just that the quarterbacks were horrible. Yeah, if we do 2010 or 2011, the Colts would be really interesting because they didn't have Andrew Luck. And Peyton was old and, like, not good. That was before he was good again. Joe Mixon ends it for Pioneers because Mexico City's out of timeout. So the Pioneers are going to stay undefeated as they go to 7-0. Jerome Diggs was pretty good. Not a ton of big plays, but he was efficient. Baker Mayfield was fine. Joe Mixon played well, so did Dalvin Cook. Montez Sweat had 2 sacks, but he also got hurt. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and good old Ray Rice. Ray Lewis retired in what, 2012? Was Madden 13 the year where they had the Ray Lewis intro? I think that was his last year. When they had that, like, fire intro of Ray Lewis giving, like, a super cool speech or something. And Madden 12 was, like, the cool cinematic intro. Madden 12's intro is by far the greatest ever, and I cannot be told otherwise. The Rams lose again to the 49ers, 28-14. So Zach Wilson, despite playing terribly, wins his first game as a Niner. So as bad as Aaron Rodgers was, Zach Wilson hasn't been much better, yet the Niners are still winning. Imagine if the Niners even just had an average quarterback. They'd be like a legit contender. Nick Chubb carried them today, literally. The Ravens have won 6 in a row. They destroyed the Broncos 45-17. Dan throws for 4 touchdowns. He appears to be the clear Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite over Andy Morrison Jr., who hasn't even been bad this year, but it's just that Denver's not winning anything. So Dan is all the Ravens needed to flip the switch. DeVaris Buckner, 3 sacks. The Saints lose to Atlanta. The NFC South might be the weirdest division in the league. The Saints, Falcons, and Panthers are all pretty close to each other. Trey Lance and Brady Boatwell were both pretty solid. Seattle beat the Bucks 31-28. There's a reason why I said those three teams in the NFC South are all close together. That's because the Bucks are not, despite scoring 22 in the fourth to nearly come back. What a trade be Russ. The Browns can tank, and the Niners can win the OFL Bowl. See, everybody wins. The Shamrock. Oh, the Jets won! The New York Football Jets scored 21 in the fourth quarter. So that means we will have nobody finished with a record of 0-17. The Shamrocks coach said, we need to punish whoever loses to the Jets first. Well, wouldn't you have it? The Shamrocks are the first team to lose to the Jets. Elijah Chisholm didn't even play all that well. It's just that Lamar played worse. Lamar has thrown a lot of picks this year. He's had 9 within a 2-game stretch of the last game last stream and now this one. So we still have 2 undefeated teams. The Pioneers won today, and the Huskies had a Week 8 bye week, so they can't lose. Oh, thank God. I did not want to lose to the Bears. 30-23, Minnesota gets the win. Matt Corral has been quietly really good this year. He outplayed Malik Willis. T. Riley had 4 touchdowns. I didn't even notice. Good God. Najee Harris played well. Why did Leonard Fournette get the ball 19 times? He wasn't bad. There's a defensive end named Deshae Collins. Yeah, Madden 22 would never think of something cool like that. There's a reason why I have to make pretty much all the names of all the relevant draft picks for my draft classes who aren't, not counting the subscriber-made players, because the Madden ones are boring. Yeah, we have Deshae Collins, and what was the other guy? Joshua Rotson-Colber. I'm really warming up to the idea of doing a retro Madden. I would still need a lot of people to, want to do it, but that's probably where my vote is towards. Whether it's an old Madden or just old rosters, I feel like this would be a ton of fun. Washington finally wins. They beat the slumping Wizards, who have now lost 4 in a row. Yeah, if we did like a recent Madden, I would try to make it Madden 20. Definitely. But we could also always do an older Madden, like Madden 12 or 13. I know I have 13 for the Xbox and the Wii U. I don't think I have Madden 12, but I doubt it's all that expensive. So I could probably easily buy it. The Aviators lose to the Chiefs, who are now 5-2. Kansas City's good. Josh Allen is good. Josh Allen light wasn't too bad either. Emmett Barton with another ridiculous game. Emmett Barton might be on Dan's tail for Offensive Rookie of the Year at this rate. Which, by the way, Madden, now that we're in Week 9, we can look at who Madden is having for all the awards. Make Charles... Why Charles Harris of all people? Charles Harris was good last year. You could have said anybody else for the bus, but you had to say Charles Harris. Charles Harris was our best pass rusher last year, and he was legitimately pretty good. Look up the price of NCAA 14. Yeah, that's, like, insane. Although there's not as much of a demand for Madden 12. So I imagine it would be cheaper. I claim Bobby Wagner. Yeah, Bobby Wagner was 2012, right? Yeah, because Russ was 2012, and they were the same year. And everybody said the Seahawks did horrible that year, and, well, wouldn't you know, they drafted 2 Hall of Famers. The Beats continue to be the most bipolar team in the league. They lose to New England. Did you win? Well, you lost this game, but you won your first game against the Niners. Okay, so clearly Joe Burrow's Week 7 injury wasn't a big deal because he played this week. He was outperformed by Trevor Lawrence. So Joe Burrow, the MVP train, might be slowing down just a little. He's still having a very good season, but today didn't really help his MVP case. The Bison win! They beat Cleveland 24-21. Russ wasn't as good today, but he was still good. He was outplayed by Jeff Sims, though, who completed less than 50% of his passes. The Black Knights win again. This offense is legitimately one of the best in the league. They've scored 28, 35, 42, 22, 31, 49, 35, 35. This offense is insane. Jordan Love is a very quiet MVP candidate. And the last, 3 weeks... Oh, we already saw this game. I'm stupid. Denver lost. The Browns lost. The Bucks lost. The Cardinals beat the Dolphins 34-20. Justin Fields outplays Sam Howell. The NFC West might be the weirdest division in the league. All 4 teams have a shot, but none of them are, all that impressive. The Chiefs won. The Diablos lost. The Dolphins lost. The Falcons won. The football team finally won. The Niners won. The Giants beat the slumping Panthers 28-24. Mac Jones played really well. Chandler Jones, 3 sacks. The Huskies didn't play. The Jags lose to the Lions, so Detroit finally gets a win. Deshaun Watson played well. C.J. Stroud was pretty Derrick Henry, why did he get 13 carries? Derrick Henry is arguably the most valuable player on any team in the league right now. There's no reason he should be getting 13 carries. The Jets, as we know, finally won. The Lions finally won. Carolina lost. New England won. The Pioneers won, and that's everybody. So we are about halfway through the year now. We'll take a look. We'll start with standings and injuries, and then we'll go through the stats and stuff. So we still have 2 undefeated teams, and we have nobody winless. Hell, nobody except for the Jets have 1 win. So despite winning, the Jets selection, which currently belongs to the Shamrocks, is still projected at #1 overall. In the AFC North, good week for the Ravens. They won their 6th straight, whereas everybody else lost. So Baltimore should win this division, but you never know. Tigers didn't play. They still lead the South because everybody else is trying to self-destruct. The Patriots are now a game ahead of the Dolphins. There he is. Yeah, you guys lost to the Jets. Congrats. The Pioneers still lead the West, but Kansas City's making it tough. The Huskies are a game and a half ahead of the Vikings, so no ground made in this division as both teams go 1-0 today. The Saints are half a game ahead of the Falcons and the Panthers. This division might go down to the end. The Black Knights currently lead the East, them and the Giants, both 1 and Washington, and the Niners still lead the NFC West. Injuries. Austin Jackson dislocated elbow. I think that's new. Elijah Mitchell tore his labrum. Whoa, a lot of stuff for the Saints. Danielle Hunter, quad tear. Devin Singletary, ruptured disc. Why are the Black Knights good? Because Jordan Love is finally playing like old Jordan Love. Their offense is probably the highest scoring in the league, I would think. If not, they're up there. Mecole Hardman, we know that happened in the watch game. We're going to do schedules at the end, but we'll do it. Xavier McKinney still out for another week. Noah Fant pulled his groin. Jonah Jackson, I think, was already hurt. Montgomery was already hurt. Christian Barmore dislocated his ankle. Broderick Jones pulled his groin. Were these old? I don't think so. Jeremy Chin tore his labrum. That feels new. And that's everybody. All right, so we're going to briefly go through some of the stats. Who is the MVP frontrunner? Jerome Diggs has a season passer rating of 120. That's probably first. No, Hector is first. Hector's also thrown for more yards, more touchdowns, and less picks. I cannot believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but Hector is probably the MVP of the league right now. Mahomes' numbers are really impressive, but his team isn't really winning. Jordan Love is certainly in the MVP discussion. Sam Howell, quietly, although his completion percentage is a little bit lower, but everything else is about even. I would probably say Hector's the MVP, at least among the quarterbacks. Yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, all amongst the league at the top. He's winning games. He's not turning the ball over. I think there's a strong case to be had for Derrick Henry, who literally is the entire Jacksonville Jaguars. So I would say, as of now, it's either Hector or Henry. I would probably vote Henry. I mean, the guy's averaging 115 yards a game on 13 touchdowns and 7 yards a carry. So I would probably put Henry first. Jax had Hector, but he chose 70-year-old Tom Brady. Where's Mixon? He is in 4th. Wow, Zeke is in 5th. Yet his longest run is 14 yards. Saquon's longest is 11. Devontae Adams leads in yards. That's not really a surprise. He's been a beast all year. Catches is probably Devontae. Yup. And then touchdowns, we have A.J. Brown with 9. Defensively, we'll go by conference. The sack leader in the AFC is Montez Sweat with 8.5. Yeah, there haven't been really any super impressive defensive players this year. Aaron Donald and Zadarius Smith in the double digits with 10.5 and 10 respectively. 3 interceptions for Bryce Hall and Bobby Wagner. 4 for Marlon Humphrey. 3 for Kyle Duggar. 2 forced fumbles for Rockison, Jabril Peppers, and Bobby Okereke. Fred Warner has 2 forces and 2 recoveries. How many kickers are still perfect? Evan McPherson is perfect. Theo Harvey is perfect. Jason Sanders is perfect. Yunwei Koo is perfect. There are more kickers who are like perfect on field goals and extra points, it feels like. Matt Arias has punted it the most, fittingly, because he's the punt god. Least amount of punts is Josh Lambo, who's not even a punter. Who does Madden have as the MVP? It's got to be Derrick Henry, right? Patrick Mahomes, okay. Jordan Love, Henry, Zeke, and Hector Estrada in 5th, followed by Nick Chubb, Russell Wilson, James Robinson, Sam Howell, and Josh Allen. Cobra is the coach of the year. With some of the moves he's made in the offseason, I don't really have a problem with that. Patrick Mahomes is favored for Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. Defensive Player of the Year is Montez Sweat. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Andy Morrison. Yet his team is 2-5. And Dan is 6-2. Zion Williamson, 5-year, $193 million maximum contract. Fun. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Mitch Brooks. A lot of Shamrocks, a lot of Jaguars. That makes sense because the Jaguars had like the entire draft. I would hope they have some guys at the top. Dan Jefferson is the best receiver. Emmett Barton, the rookie, is in 2nd. As for the NFC, Jordan Love is the Offensive Player of the Year. They're really disrespecting Hector. I never thought I would say that. But here we are. Aaron Donald is the Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year is our boy Deuce in my pants. Let's go. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Stephen Miller. Best quarterback, Jordan Love. Best running back, Nick Chubb. That makes sense. He is literally the Niners' offense. Chris Godwin, best receiver. How is Devontae 4th? That's ridiculous. Devontae Adams leads the league in catches and yards by a pretty comfortable margin. He should probably be 1st. Rashawn Slater's in 3rd. Nice. Other than that, we don't have many players in the award running. All right, so we're going to look at the schedule, and then that's going to wrap up the stream for weeks 9 and 10. Here's week 9. I kind of want to watch this. Black Knights and Ravens. That could be a fun game. Oh, God. We play the Jets this week. Oh, boy. Niners Huskies is kind of fun. Okay. We got to... Ooh, Vikings Huskies week 10. I want to watch that. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the stream. I hope everybody enjoyed. I don't think I missed anything. We did standings, injuries, schedules, stats. I think that's all of it. So we're going to be back probably early sometime next week. And we're going to do 9 and 10. I think after week 10 is when we're going to have the trade deadline. So you can make trades now. You can make trades after the next stream. But before weeks 11 and 12, that is when the trade deadline is going to be. What did you miss? You missed that we play against each other in week 10. And that Madden is disrespecting you in the awards races. They have you as 5th for the MVP, when in my opinion you should probably be 1st or 2nd. The top 3 should probably be Jordan Love, Derrick Henry, and Hector in some order. Although I would probably say Derrick Henry should be 1. Alright, so that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. We'll be back in a couple days for weeks 9 and 10.